Do you think we'll eventually get to a time when you and I are alive where we're going to know what happened or no?
You mean with specificity?
John F. Kennedy, yeah, assassination.
Do I think no? As far as the actual specifics of what really happened, I think it's too much of a cold case. Okay, I think we can. I think intelligent people who know the material can make a very kind of what we call informed speculation of what really happened. I think that's becoming more, with the work that the ARB did especially, and which I mentioned before, about these documents on Vietnam. And we didn't get to talk about one of the most sensational discoveries these guys made, which was, and I'm sure you're aware of it, Operation Northwoods. Okay? You want me to explain that?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Operation Northwoods was a wild scheme that was dreamed up by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, in which they would create what they call a casus belli, a great event that would provoke an invasion of Cuba. Some of these were having, Cuban refugees go on a killing spree in Miami. All right. Another one of them was to, the most bizarre one, was to fly a drone over Cuba, have a tape playing, we're being under attack, and blow up the plane. Okay, and that would be the excuse to go in and invade Cuba. And Kennedy took a look at these, and he says, no, I don't want to do anything like this, all right? And this was brought to him by Edward Lansdale and Lyman Lemnitzer, okay? And then Lemnitzer said, well, let's go ahead and invade anyway. So Kennedy fired him, all right? And unfortunately, by hook or by crook, he ended up going to Europe and being part of the whole NATO agreement anyway. So these are some of the things I believe are very important in trying to put together some kind of feasible scenario. Northwoods is really kind of a scary kind of, but if you want to talk about false flag, I mean, it doesn't get any more bigger than that for a false flag.
Let me ask this question from you. When say that John F. Kennedy declassified documents, all of them are out, and we have them. Are we going to see anything? Is that going to be like, oh my gosh, how come you kept this from us from so many years? Is there going to be anything revolutionary? And then the second part of the question would be the following. How do we know they're going to release everything anyways? How are we going to know that some of the stuff's not going to be kept, that never made it out to us? So 2 questions. 1, will it be that revolutionary? 2, can they hold back some documents that they don't want us to see?
Well, I'm in agreement with James here that I don't think that we're really going to ever get a full, clear picture. I mean, we all want that. I mean, that was reasonable. A lot. We've been doing the work that we've been doing over the years and pushing for release of records. I think it also ties to the fact that, when we started our work, we knew of a lot of CIA and FBI records, but what we didn't realize was all the other types of records that were out there that people brought to us, or we were able to look and discover. Did I answer the second part? Okay, all right.
So
I don't think that we're really going to see. I think we need to keep pushing, though. We really need to keep pushing.
Do you think we're going to see anything?
I really can't answer that question with any kind of authority. I think there might be a couple of interesting nuggets, but if you ask me, Patrick, with what they already did, that was a huge, what they call a quantum leap already. It's just that, except for people like you, and there aren't that many of you, the MSM just doesn't want to acknowledge a lot of this stuff. And I believe it's because of, number one, they missed a boat on the assassination, on what really happened. And number 2, they completely missed a boat on the cause and effect between what happened to Kennedy and then what happened later. Like, for example, the whole Vietnam War debacle. So they just don't want to deal with this kind of thing. And by the way, I believe that the MSM has gotten so bad, that kind of opened a door for people like you, okay? Because people want to hear, contrary to what they say, they want to hear this kind of stuff.
It's so funny that we're showing the numbers of the trust the American people have in the U.S. government. You know how much of that matches the trust people have in the mainstream media?
You're exactly right.
Did you?
That's a good point.
the lack of trust in the government and mainstream media matches. So what does that say about the two? Maybe they're on the same team.
Yeah.
So that's another part of the swamp. This is why we need people like Kennedy's. We need people like Reagan. We need people like Trump. We need people who are willing to push the envelope on both sides of the aisle.
Boy, that is a really shocking. Wow. You're right. You're right. It's what is it? 21%.
Do me a favor. Match it with the U.S. government. Match it with what you were shown with the U.S. government. So if you can put those two, look at that. That right there, the lack of trust in the public's lack of trust in the U.S. government matches. It's historic lows right now. It matches public's lack of trust. Go to the media. In a media. Right. So the media equals the government. So maybe they're just a spokesperson on behalf of the government. Here, you guys, I want you to say this to the people, and they go and tell us. No wonder people don't trust the media and the government today.
Yes.
So it helps when guys in the media that are not in the podcast side, there's a lot of them right now that are pushing the envelope who are very interested in this. Rogan's done a fantastic job interviewing a bunch of JFK assassination. He's done a phenomenal job at it. Few of us have put some time into it as well. But it's great on what happens when you try to control the people. People eventually find a creative way to get the message out to others. And then people say, wow, I'm starting to not believe what you have to say. I think you guys are both full of shit, mainstream media and the government. And I think that's a good thing.
So with all the craziness taking place, I believe future looks bright. If you believe future looks bright, get your latest Future Looks Bright hat of Valuetainment. It says Future Looks Bright here, Future Looks Bright here. We got them in white, we got them in black, we got them in red. Our black on black sold out. These are about to sell out. If you haven't ordered one yet, we had a person in Michigan, bought one, then he bought three. Then when those three people weren't in the office, they had to order 58 of them because people wanted the Future Looks Bright hat, especially during times like this, because ain't nobody saying Future Looks Bright. To order your Future Looks Bright hat, click over here. And to watch the entire podcast, click here. Take care, everybody.